VJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Carla Kopp from Weird Giraffe Games. And we're talking spicy hot games on one of those spicy hot games that I've got a chance to play that's on Kickstarter right now, Reef and Ruins, designed by Carla Kopp. Carla, take it away. Tell us all about Reef and Ruins. Where'd you get this idea?
So it wasn't originally Reef and Ruins. It was originally called Sandpiper Villa. Because I was at the beach, and I don't know if you've ever seen those little sandpipers, but they like run everywhere and they look like they're so busy. So I was like, well, why are they so busy? Well, they're probably running a condo empire, right? Because that's how my brain works. And then like one of the like things I was thinking about was just like birds, like several birds holding up like advertising. So like you'd have to have a bird on each side to hold the advertising up so people could see it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was basically the enchantment section. So yeah, I just wanted to like see little sandpipers, advertising their little condo amenities in a roll and write. Like that just made sense to me. But we haven't talked for 4 years. So like one of the things that happened to me during the pandemic is I went a little pandemic crazy and I designed a lot of games with birds, like a lot of games. There's like 12 or 15 of games with birds, like so much so that like one of my consultants was like, you know what, you could just go to Kickstarter and say like, pandemic made me crazy. Here's 10 bird games. You can get them all or whatever. So
like the Elite book series, Steve, like it has the numbers. She's got all the different birds and all the boxes that go on your bookshelf. I want to see these games. Are we going to see any of them?
Yes. I know at least one of them. By the way,
I do not use tomatoes in my gumbo. Stop that. Dave knows better than that. Go ahead, Carla.
The one that will probably come out was actually an April Fool's joke based on the fact that I kept on making bird games called Flock Ton of Flamingos.
Take that, ChatGPT.
Oh my god, I love that.
There is no wordplay like that.
So like good. I made the joke and then like people liked it, and then like the next day I was just like I read an article about flamingos. So like this is real, where flamingos, they like to be in a mated pair. They like to have a group of 3 close friends and then a bigger group of 6 friends. And it was like, well, that's a game already. Like, that's all I need. It's a colors and numbers. You're collecting the flamingos and making little friend groups.
You got to do this, Vapor Fools. I mean, that even if it's just a print and play that you put up on the website or something, people will share it around and people will want to play it. That sounds like a fun game. I love the name.
It does.
Yeah, I mean,
but how did you get
like all these like images and stuff? Because like, John Merchant, like he's an artist that does a lot of things for me. I was just like, John, here's an April Fool's idea, and every year he makes like something funny and cool that looks semi-professional. So yeah.
So sandpipers didn't stay sandpipers, though, right?
Yeah.
By the way, look at this.
Not everyone loves birds.
Look at this photography here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I was thinking about like what it could be otherwise. And there's 3 dice, and the gameplay of it is very different than Wicked and Wise. But in the Wicked and Wise universe, there's a trick-taking game, and there's also a logic game, and there's like a lot of the same like strategic things, but in a roll and write. So I thought like from that like mental like state or whatever, it fit in the Wicked and Wise universe. And then there's 3 dice, so it was like, well, that's a Hydra, right?
And there's a connection that at least I saw in your notes in the rule book between the otter that is the first player marker and the one that's exploring this reef and the Hydra. There's some kind of connection between them.
Oh, well, historically they've always been friends because the Latin name of the sea otter is called Enhydra. So obviously that's historically correct, and you'd have to prove me wrong.
Right. They have to be friends, right?
Yeah, like prove that they weren't friends. Like, why else would they name it Enhydra?
So, Stephen Verla, this is one of those rando writers that you could play with 99 people because the 3 dice themselves, you don't draft them as in, I'm going to take this dice and no one else is going to use them, you know? So, right. Carla, I can't even imagine. What's the most amount of people you've played with Reef and Ruins?
I've actually only played with like 6 at the same time.
Okay.
I'm still not doing like huge groups. I do want to like when it comes out to go to Gen Con and like have the full room of people and play a game. But I haven't gotten to that point yet.
We have a convention coming up in March, and
Yeah.
you'll be there. We could.
I mean, if you
we
give
could
me
try
the
it.
room that fits everyone, we can definitely play it.
It would be fun. Yeah, it'd be fun. All right. So how does the progression of the turn work?
So every round, you roll the dice, and there's 3 different dice, and there's actually 3 different sheets because again, Hydra, I like kind of really leaned into the whole Hydra and 3 of everything. You could either go into the ship ruins, use enchantments, or go into the reef. For the ship ruins, you use one of the dice to unlock the ruins, and it's like a little puzzle. One of them is like all evens, one of them is all odds, one's a tiny pyramid. And you can put the other 2 dice into that ruin section once it's unlocked. There's also the enchantments, which is like kind of like the little birds, where you need more than 1 Hydra head to enchant something. So you add them together, and these are numbers 7 to 12. The ruins are 1 to 6. And you could always put any extra dice that you have into the reef, which is a little spatial puzzle or other little thing. Because in the base game, there's 2 reefs, 1 ruins, and 1 enchantment sheet. So you could swap out the little spatial puzzle. And if you find little pearls in the reef, you can get combos, which it might give you an enchantment. And you go get an enchantment, and the enchantment might give you shells or something else where you might like get a die where you can put it into the ruins.
We played both of the reefs that you had, and I don't know what you call this one, but I kind of like this one a little bit better. It was a fun little puzzle. I will point out something though, Steve. If you look at the middle of this sheet, someone pointed out on the video that I misscored this one, Carla. I don't know if you noticed. If you look at number 4, I did get all 4 of the little pairs, and that's 7 points. Mm-hmm. But also they went. They were completely filled out.
Yeah, so you should get the
I should have gotten the 3 and the 3 also, the 6 points for 13. So I did miss that. So, but there's, as you can see, one of the cool things about this game, Carla, that I just love. I love any kind of these rando riders that have the, what I call the bubble wrap moment, where you're just popping bubble wrap like crazy, and you're popping it, and it does other things. And you can use these little shells to, if I remember right, that's what manipulates the numbers up and down. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use the shells to manipulate it up and down, and then that gives you bonuses to put on the enchantment sheet over here, or on the reef, and then that'll give you these pearls. And if you do the pearls, you can take another action or another little reef bonus there on the bottom, and that gives you more numbers. You can kind of stretch out your turns that way, but nothing so crazy that you're staring at one person taking 13 moves or 20 moves, but it is very satisfying when you can pop a bunch of these bubbles back to back to back. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of what you were going for in the game?
Yeah, like I like when people like can feel like they're clever and they did a lot, but like not when everyone's just like waiting around. So you might like go to all 3 sheets, but you're not going to be doing a lot. You're just going to be like marking enchantment and then going to the next one. So yeah, it should be like pretty fast. Like I typically aim to like make games you can play over lunch.
Nice.
Verla, anything on this?
I love the artwork. I love everything you just described about bouncing back and forth and doing all kinds of actions. Reminds me of a Super Mega Lucky Box game that I just kind of skunked some of our other friends at doing that kind of thing. So the idea of doing that again with a way prettier setting and artwork is very, very enticing.
Yeah, it's not the same game, but the feeling that you get whenever you get that lucky roll with Super Mega, mm-hmm. and you can pop all the different numbers and just keep and stretch it out in 6 or 7. That's kind of that same thing. The artist on this one, is it Beth Sobel or is
that's John Merchant?
John Merchant. Okay, mm-hmm. It's just fun little art, and I'm assuming you're getting a little Otter first player meeple. Is that right?
Well, it's the Otter round tracker.
Round tracker. That's right. That's what it is.
So cute.
Very cool.
Look, Steve, it says
originally, like he had the Hydra have like 3 different heads, but I was like, no, they're all axolotl heads. Like that's the cute one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So why not have an axolotl Hydra?
The project looks like it's already funded. Is that right? Yep, already funded, and it's only $19, and it comes with a big old stack of sheets. is there anything else that's going to be revealed in the project for Reef and Ruins that we haven't seen yet? Anything coming down the pipe?
Yes. I'm planning on announcing the stretch goals tomorrow, actually.
Ooh.
At least the first two.
Okay.
Because I was a little behind because I actually moved 2 weeks ago to a different location.
Oh.
And turns out moving takes time. I forgot to put in. But I want to do the first two stretch goals are going to be the pearlescent dice and the round tracker is going to be double-sided and have like other like the current round tracker gives you bonuses each round and it'll just be different bonuses.
Yeah, let me see if I can get a picture of that. Oh yeah, so
it's right there with the little otter.
Yeah, where the otter is, you'll see there's some little tiny symbols next to the numbers by the otter, and those are little bonuses that you get. So there'll be another way to look at this. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kelly says reminds her of Fleet the Dice game. Yeah, if you like load and roll and rights, you're gonna like Reef and Runs because that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a little crunchy, little thinky, but not overly so. I feel like you could teach this to a lot of people, Carla.
Yeah, I tried to make it more approachable than like Fleet and also like Twilight Inscription, like because those require like a lot of rules and a lot of symbols and stuff. Yes. But like in this one, like you can just focus and just do one sheet all the time. I mean, you won't get like the best score, but you can like gradually choose like how much you're going to take on in each round.
How many different sheets are going to be in the project itself?
There should be 4.
Okay, so the 2 different reefs.
Yes.
And then the enchantments and the ruins. Okay.
Yeah. Ultimately, like I want to do like depending on how all this goes, I want to have another game that has like a new ruin, enchantment, and reef. Because I meant it all to be like kind of modular.
Yeah, I was trying to get a picture of that other reef, and I can't seem to find it. Is this it? Yeah, I can't seem to find the other reef.
Yeah, it's the one with the polyominoes.
It's the one with the polyominoes. That's the one. That's right. Is it on the Kickstarter page? Maybe it's not on there.
If you look at the latest update, I made a PDF with it that you could like fill in so that people can play on the computer.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. But that's not the only game that you have on this project, isn't that right?
Yeah. I'm also doing Wicked and Wise Deluxe because I'm basically sold out of Wicked and Wise.
Oh, look, there's the little polyominoes.
Yeah.
See there? Yeah. But go ahead. You're saying Wicked and Wise?
The Wicked and Wise Deluxe, where it has a deck holder and also the middle coins. So like you can, if you've ever played Wicked and Wise is an asymmetric team-based trick-taking game where one person on the team is a dragon who is playing the trick-taking game, and the other person is the mouse who is manipulating the trick-taking game. So yeah, like that game was popular enough that I needed to do a reprint, and I also have an expansion, which I actually played at Sobo as well. I don't think, BJ,
I did not get to try it at Sobo.
Jay did play it, and we almost named it the Eclipse expansion, but that was because there was an eclipse on Sobo. And we were playing the game and it was like, yes, it could be an eclipse. But then there's multi-suit cards in the expansion. And so if you have a multi-suit card, like say 2 people play a 15, the multi-suit card loses. And if it was called Eclipse, you would just think that it would win because it would eclipse the other one. So I had to figure out a different name. But it was almost named based on being at Sobo and experiencing the eclipse.
That's funny, Steve. So asymmetric games are all the rage, right? I mean, there's so many of them that are out there, and that is one unique thing about this one. I had never played a trick-taking game where the 2 partners are so wildly different. The mouse and the dragon play completely different. I can't remember if either one of you played this Wicked and Wise.
Yes, yeah, I played Wicked and Wise. We did I think we did a write-up for the blog. Did we not? Okay,
I think so. It's been a while.
Yeah, it would have been like
it would have been it was a PAX or 3 ago.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a lot of cool stuff you have in this part of the project, right? You were talking about the deluxe edition, and tell us about what some of the stuff is going on.
Yeah, and like the expansion, which is like all brand new stuff, new treasures, new goals, a new like the multi suit cards. So it follows like this. Oh, go on.
What's this dragon thing?
So you can put the decks, so that you don't.
Card holder. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So you because there's gem cards, which are like the Trump suit that like will win if no other Trump or gems are played. But they have the same backs. So we had like a gem token, and that worked fine. But like having like the little dragon holder means like you will hopefully never like pull the wrong card when you're drawing.
Oh, that's fine. And I don't know if you guys can see, but the artwork in here, I mean, the Kickstarter page shows it, but you got to see this stuff in person. It's really amazing. Now, who was the artist for the art we're seeing here?
Beth Sobel.
Okay.
Yep.
And
actually, Jay Bell did some of the graphic design too.
Yes, he did.
That was part of the write-up. I remember we did mention that was Jay Bell's. That was his first published graphic design thing. As he had published games before, but where he was just being credited as as part of the art direction or our graphic direction. So
that's ringing a bell.
Yep. And then and of course the project comes with if you already have the base game, you could just get the Wicked and Wise Reflections, which I have right now.
Yep.
Little card, little box, or this is not you'll get the fancier edition of Wicked and Wise, the deluxe edition.
Bigger.
It's in a bigger box, is that right?
Yes. So one reason why I had to do the deluxe is that like when I was testing the Reflections expansion, like I had to have everything sleeved, and like I could not fit everything into the box.
Yeah, it was practical.
And it was just like, if I can't fit everything into the box, if I just made the expansion, like people would be mad. Well,
the two buzzwords the last few years: asymmetric games and trick taking, and this has both.
Yeah,
because I'll tell you, we have played a lot of trick takers over the last 3 or 4 years. It just seems to have exploded. Chris Ray's got those crazy trick taking games that he's been putting out. I don't know if you played Zolotar yet, Carla, but
I don't think so.
There's so many good trick taking games out right now. So I tell people they need to check this out. So that is on Kickstarter right now. It is already well funded, and some stretch goals coming out tomorrow. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Until November 7th.
Link in the chat.
And it's we got the link right here. And we've got a little bit more time. You said November?
Till November 7th, I believe.
15 days to go. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That must be a relief whenever you see that funding goal met so early.
Yeah, it is definitely like I can go like take a nap, or like that's how I celebrate every time. It's like, oh, it funded, I'll go sleep, because like I haven't been sleeping for days, and like I just worry about everything. So then I'm like, okay, I can relax. I'll come back and like deal with everything else after I've taken like a good like 4-hour nap.